The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Good morning and happy Thursday. I'm Maddie Jansen alongside Alex Fisher. We're creeping up on the weekend.
17 News is your local election headquarters, and we're looking at some of the races that typically receive little attention but have big implications when it comes to your child's future.
Over the past couple of years, school board meetings have been contentious, especially regarding LGBTQ issues. And these debates have spilled into school board races. 17's Chris Burton explains.
Candidates for local school boards say this year's races are more heated than ever before, and a key dividing factor, how to handle LGBTQ issues in the classroom.
We're in a cultural war in this country.
A culture war, a politicized agenda, parental rights. Whatever the language, candidates for current school boards have found themselves on the front lines of one of the nation's most heated debates. When, how, and if at all, to educate students on issues concerning gender identity and sexual orientation. It's part of a school board election cycle more politicized and divided than any in recent memory, according to veteran candidates like Panama Buena Vista's Keith Woolridge.
Good people, good hearts are leaving because of the partisanship and the politicization of our local school boards.
Fights over inclusion of lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender topics in the classroom are not particularly new. But after legislation seeking to restrict LGBTQ topics in schools grabbed national attention, some local school board candidates, many of whom are running for the first time, want current school districts to do the same.
Teachers talking about that, pushing their agenda onto kids is wrong. You know, that school is not a place where your personal beliefs and ideologies need to be shared with kids.
California law requires schools include the contributions of LGBT Californians and Americans in history and social studies courses, although the state leaves the question of how to include those contributions up to districts that create their own curriculum. Schools must also acknowledge same-sex relationships and diverse gender identities in sex education courses. Parents can opt their child out of the latter, but some candidates want an expansion of that right.
Obviously, it's going to be taught to my kid. And I just feel that a parent should have the right to decide that, to say, okay, you can teach it in the school if you want to, but give us parents the right to say, okay, but we'd like to opt out if that's not what we believe in.
As far as determining what is or is not to be included, Woolridge says much of that is out of a school board's hands.
Certain issues towards sexuality, things of that nature, I am not going to trump a parent, right? It's their child. However, I do have the responsibility of following the law. That's every school board trustee's responsibility.
Still, longtime Bakersfield City School District trustee Pam Bauer disagrees with the notion that district's curricula are harmful to students.
We as a school district are not trying to sexualize our students at all. We are trying to teach the children to be successful in life.
We're less than 3 weeks away from Election Day. For information on how and where to cast your ballot, visit our website, kget.com. In studio, Chris Burton, 17 News.
5:06 now. Police say a hoax phone call from two Thompson Junior High students claiming someone had a gun near the school led to a temporary lockdown yesterday. BPD officers were called to the school on Plans Road just after noon and placed the school on lockdown as they searched the campus. Officials say no one with a gun was found. Panama Buena Vista Union School District officials say the school was on lockdown for about 15 to 20 minutes. The two students who made the hoax phone call were arrested and released to their parents. Now in your 17 Court Watch, closing arguments have concluded in the murder trial for Wendy Howard, the woman accused of shooting and killing her ex-boyfriend Kelly Pitts in Tehachapi in 2019 after confronting him over his alleged sexual abuse of their teen daughter. And now it's in the hands of the jury to decide her fate. Howard claims she shot Pitts in self-defense after he hit her foot while driving an ATV during the argument. But prosecution witnesses testified Pitts wasn't facing her when he was shot. Howard says she feared for her life. The prosecutors say Howard handled matters by herself and delivered vigilante justice.
We have no idea in what order anything occurred. We have no idea. All we know is that Wendy was scared, and at that time she pulled out the gun and she's backing up. She's not coming towards him. Why do you back up? Because you're scared.
Where should Kelly Pitts be right now? He should be in prison. He should be in a 6-foot by 8-foot cell. That's where he should be right now. He should not be dead. He should not be buried 6 feet under.
Howard faces up to 50 years to life in prison if convicted of first-degree murder. However, the jury can consider lesser charges, including second-degree murder, voluntary manslaughter, and involuntary manslaughter.
17 News is your local election headquarters, and we are now just 19 days out from the midterm elections. And every election cycle, we work hard to bring you a series of local debates so that you, the voter, can better understand where the candidates stand on the issues that matter to you before you go to fill out your ballot.
This year, our goal hasn't changed, but our debates certainly have. 3 Democratic candidates have either pulled out or at the 11th hour or declined the invitation entirely. 17's Maddie Gannon has more on the possible strategy behind the boycotts.
The question before us is, which point of view and which party do we want to lead the United States?
Since the first time 2 presidential nominees took the stage in front of a national TV audience, debates have been a staple in American politics.
If someone is wanting to represent a constituency, they should be able to talk about those issues in front of beside their opponent and really juxtapose their 2 positions.
This election year, while we've seen candidates in some of the nation's most high-profile races take the podium,
well, I hope Senator Warnock and myself would.
Some later not showing up, others refusing to debate their opponents at all.
Californians in general are seeing this.
In Kern, we've seen it firsthand. Over the last 2 weeks, Democratic candidates Rudy Salas and Melissa Hurtado dropped out of debates in the 11th hour, leaving their GOP opponents on stage next to empty podiums. Another Democratic candidate declining our debate invitation altogether.
But at the end of the day, I think, politics is very much a game of numbers.
Democratic analyst Neil Sinapa explains it's often about political calculation, with campaigns maneuvering behind closed doors, deciding if the candidate has more to win or lose from facing their opponent on stage.
The polling is indicating that you're doing very well. Sometimes folks will advise you, and sometimes candidates will feel themselves that they don't need to put themselves out there.
Republican analyst Kathy Abernathy agrees it's often consultants or strategists advising the candidates not to debate, but argues that should send a message.
But that should tell the voters something. Why can't we see this person without the cover of a PR company designing their ads?
17's Maddie Gannon reporting. So next week we'll try again. On Wednesday evening, October 26th, 20th Congressional District candidates Kevin McCarthy and Marissa Wood are scheduled to face off right here in our 17 News studios. The outcome of this race could affect the partisan balance of the power in the U.S. House of Representatives, as Republicans need to gain a net of 5 seats to take control of the chamber. Kevin McCarthy is the House Minority Leader and has been in office since 2013. Marissa Wood is a junior high English teacher at the Fairfax School District. Their live debate is happening at 7 o'clock next Wednesday night here on KGET.
If you are a registered voter in California, you should receive your ballot in the mail by today. If you have not, you can request a replacement ballot from the local elections office starting tomorrow. The last day to register to vote and have a ballot mailed to you is October 24th. After that, you can conditionally register to vote between October 25th and Election Day, November 8th, at the Kern County Elections Office or at any poll site on Election Day.
A driver's dead after a crash near the outlets at Tejon. What was originally reported as a Tesla battery fire turned out to be a crash. As the California Highway Patrol confirms, a Tesla driver was speeding southbound on Outlet Drive and lost control and crashed into a block wall. Officers say the crash caused the electric car to catch fire. The driver was not wearing a seatbelt and was ejected and died at the scene. One person's dead following a crash at District Boulevard and Ash Road. The Bakersfield Police Department says the driver ran a red light on Ash Road, hit another car, and hit a pedestrian. The pedestrian was killed. The driver who ran the red light suffered moderate injuries and was taken to the hospital.
This morning, investigators are still trying to find out who started the fire at the Party City in Rosedale. Employees say it was arson when tens of thousands of dollars worth of decorations went up in smoke Tuesday night. County firefighters confirm a customer started the blaze in the aisle with baby shower decorations and balloon kits. One person was hurt. As of last check, firefighters were still looking for the person who started the blaze.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.